Hey there folks, Mr. Kowalczyk here with a video for Business Math, and today we find ourselves in section 19-4. Businesses, and of course people, need phone lines, whether we're talking about cell phones or actual landlines. And today we're going to be looking at some of the different costs that people have to keep in mind whenever they're setting up a phone plan. And specifically what we're looking at today are landlines. And while there are a lot of homes out there in America today that are going away from landlines, there are still many businesses that keep landlines for their business. Now, the first thing that we are going to look at is step one. Step one. And when we're looking at that, what we're trying to find is the cost of additional minutes. Yes, there are some phone plans out there that allow you to have unlimited minutes. Unlimited minutes. But there are some phone plans that don't offer that. It kind of depends upon what company you're going with and how much you're willing to spend. And so, if a company goes over on their minutes when they're getting ready to pay for their phone bill, there are costs associated with that. And so, what we would be looking at here using step number one is, we first need to know, hey, what is the total number of minutes used? And how many minutes were they supposed to use? How many minutes were they given as a part of their contract? We subtract the two, and whatever we get left, we multiply times 35 cents. So that means for every extra minute, for each additional minute that this company goes over on, well, they have to pay 35 cents per each additional minute. Now, the one thing that I will point out here is if on step one, your answer for this step is a negative number, don't write a negative number down here on A. Don't write a negative number. Just write 0. Just write 0 cents, or $0.00 as the official answer. Okay, so don't write a negative number. If you do get one, just write 0. Well, then that takes us to step two. And in step two, what we're looking at is the total cost per month for that telephone plan, and specifically the total cost for this month for the telephone plan. You see, we're going to need to know the cost of additional minutes that we got right here, and we'll plug that in there. But we'll also have to know the cost for additional lines. You see, most of these plans are going to come with 2 lines. And so if it already says, if your company only has 2 lines, then you don't have to pay any extra for additional lines. But if they have more than 2 lines, then you're going to start being charged for each additional line. The other thing that we'll point out is the monthly service plan charge. You know, this is the basic fee for that monthly plan. And that can be found up here on this chart in this column. But the other thing that we got to keep in mind is we might have to kind of look through all this just to be sure that we're not missing anything, okay? Because that's the key to finding the answers to these problems. We have to use this chart up here and just be sure that we're following it correctly. I'll show you what I mean by getting right into problem number 1. Spotlight Discount has 2 telephone lines on a monthly service plan of $119.99. $119.99. This month they used 1,525 minutes. Using this info and the formulas from the chart above, the formulas and the charts from all that above, answer the following questions. Letter A. What was the cost for additional minutes? Well, that's going to take us to step 1. First thing we need to know is what was the total minutes? The total minutes were 1,525. And what we're going to do is we're going to subtract from that the included minutes. Well, where do we find this included minutes? Well, it's kind of tricky, but what we're looking for is the type of plan they have. And it just so happens that they have this plan right here that I'm underlining in orange. That is so important to be sure you're looking at the right row. That's why I underlined it in orange. And according to that row, what we are dealing with is 1,500 minutes. That's how many minutes they were supposed to use. But, you know, once again, we went over. We went over by 25. If you do the math in your head, you can take the purple number minus the orange number and get 25. And we're going to multiply that 25. We will multiply that 25 times 35 cents. So 25 times 35 cents, it's not a whole lot. It's only $8.75 extra. So they went over, so they're going to pay $8.75 extra. Well, now this takes us to letter B. And in letter B, we're trying to calculate what was the total cost for this telephone plan. Well, step 2. Step 2. First thing is, what is the monthly service plan charge? Well, they kind of already tell us that right away in our problem up above. We've underlined it in green. But you can also find it up above in the orange underline as well. What we're going to do is we're going to add that to any cost for additional lines. Well, here's the thing. We're not getting any additional lines. We're only having 2. We're only having 2. And since there are 2 lines, it's going to be 0. It tells us up here where my mouse is dancing that 2 lines of service is already included. So since they're only getting 2, we'll leave it at 0. The other part, of course, is $8.75 for additional minutes. And since our problem here doesn't tell us about anything else, we're pretty much good. We've got these 3 numbers down. We are great and ready to go. So we do some adding, and we get $128.74 for this month's plan. As always, feel free to talk to Mr. K or review with the video. If you do have questions, that's why he's here, and that's why the video's here. Thanks so much, and have a great afternoon.